Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So we're in the 4th week of the rains retreat. Now the 4th Uposatha, which is 8 weeks of the month of the rains retreat. We got 1 month left. Having just been on retreat for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're still, it's the first day, gotten out. Still a bit of an adjustment. Seeing everybody, so many people in the monastery. And with anything in the transition, it's always getting used to things again. Used to talking to people and planning things and deciding things. Forget how tiring it is. It's very tiring. And I always remember, I think I say this every year, I should do this more often. We should all step back from our duties and go into seclusion ever so often. Or anything, but then, another voice says, well, yeah, when the opportunity arises, yeah, make use of it. But there's no point pining after it, planning or developing irritation against whatever situation you might find yourself. Because they'll hear that a lot with the lay people coming, oh, I wish I can practice more. Once my kids have grown up, then I can get really practice. As if you can't practice from where you are. And that's one of the main things. So always remember, you can always practice wherever you are, whatever situation you find yourself. It may not be strict seclusion, but there's always things you can do to encourage, to foster, to develop wholesome states of mind wherever you are, whether it's developing acceptance, developing patient endurance, developing kindness, developing wisdom, to find skillful ways to deal with things. So, so much of the practice is about making the best of your situation, of the situation you find yourself. So yes, it was great. I haven't said that. It's great to be away for 2 weeks. Did a lot more walking meditation and talk to anybody. And try a few new things nowadays. And it's nice to, we have a routine, and I'm big on routine, as you might know, to sit and walk and just to watch how we react to that. It's also nice to step away from that and not have a routine and see what comes up. You walk when the mind feels like walking, you sit when the mind feels sitting. And I did take the opportunity to do more walk in the forest. As most of you know, walking around the fire trail around the monastery. I can do that every day and still find it really great. It's always new things. Someone asks me, aren't you bored just walking the same trail every week, every Mondays? Or even no, I never found it boring. There's always new things to look at. Different seasons, different flowers coming out now. Different spots in the hills, different trees to catch your eyes. Different things. Yeah, so it's always interesting to, and I see it's kind of, so much of life is like that. This is samsara. You go around and around the same things. It's delusion. You think that you doing different things. No, you've been doing the same thing for thousands of lifetimes. The trick is not to do new things. The trick is to understand what you're doing. And whether that is going in the right direction, going towards more peace and stillness, more clarity, more understanding. And yeah, so one of the nice things was, to drop the routine, one of the conditions, that external conditions. The other thing is to drop being the abbot. That was nice. You don't have to decide anything. You don't have to lead the chanting. It was nice, but I don't have to lead the chanting. And then to stop back and to step outside of that. With anything, with any roles that we have, whether you're an abbot or a monk, a lay person, an Nigarika, those are just roles. They don't define, hopefully we don't take them too seriously, they don't define who you are. Hopefully you use the roles as skillful means to cultivate wholesome states of mind. To use. So we were talking about finding ways and whatever roles you happen to inhabit, whether it's a lay person, a new person coming to the monastery, staying for a long time, whether you're a nun or monk or an abbot. Those are just artificial construct. Basically, we're all beings, human beings, practicing for the lessening of suffering, for the clear seeing, for realizing truth in ourselves. And we use those external constructs to the best of our ability. Like I said, I was being an abbot. It's an opportunity. Sure, I don't have the peace, the stillness of a young monk, because there's things to do, but I don't have to make a problem of it. I can use those opportunities to cultivate wisdom, to cultivate wholesome states of mind, to find ways to support, to encourage people to come and practice and further their practice. And like I said, it's the practice. We're cultivating bhavana, cultivating wholesome states. It's not just about meditation, in-breath and out-breath. It's not just about when you're sitting closing your eyes. You're cultivating wholesome states from the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the moment you close your eyes at night. Find ways to develop wholesome states, or find ways to let go of unwholesome states and maintain the wholesome, the beautiful mind states that you can, for as long as you can. So it's always about cultivation of the mind. And we can do that anytime, in whatever position you find yourself. You don't have to say, wait until I become a monk, then I don't have to do any of these other things. I can meditate. Wait until I become a fully ordained nun, then I don't have to be in the kitchen anymore. I'll be free, I'll be so happy, be nirvana. No, I guarantee you, there'll be suffering, other suffering waiting for you. So the point is, wherever you find yourself, to cultivate wholesome states as much as you can. Find ways to inspire yourself, find ways to encourage more patience, more acceptance, and more clear seeing. And this is why the monastery is such a great opportunity, a great place to be. Because there is enough things to do, enough interaction to generate a response, but not overwhelming. So we'll have differences enough to allow us to practice forgiveness and letting go and acceptance, but not too much distraction where we're constantly always having to talk to each other, to soothe things down. We have plenty of time to go back to our hut, to accommodation, to quieten the mind down. And like I was saying, it's about cultivating wholesome states. And that comes reminds me of a little pamphlet I was reading on my retreat. Was it Samatha and Vipassana? So now's a good time to bring up this idea of Samatha is peace and Vipassana is clear seeing that the Buddha talked about. But first, there's a lot of misconception around that, so let's just clear that up to as best as I can. The Buddha talked about Samatha, which is peace, stillness, and Vipassana, which is insight. But he doesn't, and he talks about meditation, but he never talked about insight meditation. It's very popular. We hear these days that what kind of meditation you do. You do Samatha, you do calm meditation, you do insight meditation. No such thing. The Buddha never talked about insight meditation. Because insight is not what you do. Insight is the result of your meditation. You don't do insight meditation. That's a misnomer. That's a perversion of the Buddha's teaching, to be frank. Samatha is the calming. And that also, you don't do Samatha meditation. Calmness happens because you meditate, something that arises from the practice. So you don't do Samatha meditation either. You meditate and calmness is the result that happens after that. Yeah. But it's just not, it's always, it's not meditation, it's calmness and Vipassana, clear seeing or insight, are the product of your practice. And the practice that comes from your purity of mind. The more you purify your mind, the calmer you'll be. And the more calm you are, the clearer you see things. So those are the product, the result of the practice. They're not a practice in themselves. Sometimes people confuse themselves and they say, I do insight meditation, I do calm meditation. No, calmness is the result of the practice that you do. Insight is also the result. You don't do insight. That happens naturally by themselves. As the mind becomes more calm, you see them clearly. And also, it's good to understand why is it that we're not calm, or why is it we don't see things clearly, right? And as practitioner, we don't see things clearly because we have craving, we have desires. When you want something, that's all you're looking at. You're looking at, let's say you have the usual example. It's a hot day and you want ice cream. So that's all you're thinking about. Sitting in the morning, I can't hardly wait to dawn the time. Hopefully something's really hot. Hopefully the ladies remember to bring out the ice cream that somebody brought in last week. That's all you're thinking all day long. So you focus on that. So you're walking around, you'll be bumping into things because you're not seeing anything around you. You're focusing on your desire. So that's why desire, craving in the mind, obstructs clear seeing. That's a simple example, but you can see that when you have cravings, that's what you focus on. You don't see the world around you. You see people as just objects. I see this person, maybe that person will bring me my ice cream. You don't see it as a person, you see them as a means to your end. And that's the problem with craving, because we don't see the world around as it is. We don't see people for who they are. We see people as the way to get what we want. And that is a very superficial, a very kind of shallow way of seeing at the world. Because you don't see clearly, you're clouded by your desires, your craving. And so the more the mind is filled with craving or fear, you're afraid that you don't see clearly, you see everybody as a potential person that can harm you. Every little noise in the forest, it's an animal that can come out and jump and eat you. So when you see animals, they're full of fear because everything around them can hurt them. So then they don't see things clearly either. And same with humans. If you have a lot of fear, then everything is a problem. Everything is a threat to you. Instead of enjoying the beautiful night, walking in the forest, You just think, oh, some homicidal maniac is going to jump out in the bush and get me. I've been here for 8 years, you know, and I can keep saying, oh, it's very, very safe, but you never know. It's always the first time. It's always the first time. The mind can do all sorts of tricks like that. And it prevents you from enjoying the beautiful full moon, the beautiful silence, or the natural rustling in the bush. It's just an animal, you know, looking for things. Just sounds in the forest. The mind won't be able to settle down because there's fear and irritation in the mind. So when you purify the mind through meditation or through any kind of practice of inspiring the mind, of reflection, anything that brings joy to the mind, helps you to calm down, helps you to see clearly. So that's why it's important to understand Samatha and Vipassana. Those are the results of the practice. They're not a type of practice in their own. But these are just, you know, name, and the names don't do justice. So what I like about the forest tradition is that, yeah, it's about the whole day is a practice. When it's time to work, you learn to bring up wholesome qualities, bring up energy to help do the cleaning, the cooking, the chainsawing, find way. You also do in a way that is with clarity. Especially if you're using the chainsaw, you have to have a lot of clarity, otherwise you hurt yourself or hurt others. So that's where you focus, you bring up the practice to bring clarity. Where's my body? Where's the chainsaw? Where's the heading? Where's the other person moving around? Am I being mindful? Am I doing things in a way that brings safety to people around me as well? Not breaking the equipment, but not, you know, hurting other people and not hurting yourself. So you have to bring clarity around you as well. That takes focus. If you were to focus, you can't be lost in your thought, dreaming about the ice cream that you're going to get in the lunchtime. You have to be there, focus in the present moment. So every single practice, every activity you do in the monastery or anywhere, it's an opportunity to be present, to focus on wholesome states, to focus on purity of the mind. So yes, we do a lot of formal meditation, but do not allow that to be the mind to say that's the only time that you really practice. That's the real practice. Everything else is just boring. This chanting, why do we do chanting, Ajahn? It doesn't make any sense. Can you explain to me why 108 times? And then you make us do chanting 2 hours in the evening. And yes, you can see the mind, the complaining mind can find all sorts of ways, of reasons why it's silly, it doesn't make any sense. But actually, you know, just for the wider audience, the Buddha recommended chanting Itipiso as a way to bring up faith and inspiration in the Buddha himself. And bring up the qualities of the Triple Gem, the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of the Dhamma, the quality of the Sangha. And by bringing those qualities up, inspires the mind, uplifts the mind, brightens the mind. That's what practice is about. It's about purifying your mind, brightening the mind, lifting that up, however you need to do it. Yeah, sometimes meditation is one of the most common way to do, but it's not the only way. We find ways to uplift ourselves, you know, find stories of inspiration, stories of generosity. Especially, you know, we are very lucky. We live in a place that lots of people come and offer and to donate things. So just remember, you know, Dewey comes every Tuesday, cooks a feast for us without fail. And she's got a whole family to look after. So, you know, just allow those kind of stories to uplift, to brighten the mind. And so many people come. They cook the food early in the morning, they drive 2.5 hours, they come offer the food to the community. That's an amazing opportunity. That's something that I come up so distinctly during the practice. We're so blessed here to receive the support that we do, to be able to be in this beautiful forest. I mean, knock on wood, who knows what happens. But I can do this for another 50 years. Just sitting, walking around. I'm in the retreat. Just doing every day, just doing the fire trail, sitting quietly, walking around. It's nice. And yes, the mind goes, it'd be nice to have a few more minds, it'd be nice to have this, but it's not essential. It's not essential. Everything is really perfect the way it is, just right here. Good enough. Beautiful. Especially today, beautiful weather, flowers are out. Nothing else for wanting. And that's the thing that you have to encourage the mind to go back over and over again. This sense of gratitude, sense of appreciation for all that we already have. And then the mind will start to calm down, start to brighten up, start to uplift naturally. And when it starts to uplift, you see clearly. And what is it that we see clearly? Where is it? How is it that we're making suffering for ourselves and others? To wrong thinking, to not seeing clearly. When you see that, the mind lets go naturally. So it's always about whether you're doing formal meditation or whether you're just cooking in the kitchen. How are you relating to that? How are you doing that? Are you sitting here with craving? You want your jhanas? You want people to stop moving? You want a mind to shut up? That's craving. That will bring more suffering. Or you're sitting out of just gratitude, happy. I'm just happy to be sitting still. Happy to be in this beautiful sala. Happy just to be with my body and mind as it is. Happy to give my energy, my awareness, my devotion to the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. Happy just to be part of, to be associated with Ajahn Tan, Lim. Happy to be part of a wonderful forest tradition. Happy just to be a Buddhist. Wonderful, it's absolutely wonderful just to be in the sala sitting. What the mind does, the mind does. You don't have too much control over that. But as we reflect with gratitude, as we reflect with appreciation, something magical will happen. It settles down. All the problems of the world, the problem with yourself, the body, your mind, fades away. And you're in this place of just peace and stillness. Like, that's how it works. It's just through gratitude, through acceptance, through letting go, that the mind becomes peaceful. When you want something, or you want to get rid of some things, create words for the mind, create issues. But when you are happy, you're grateful, you're appreciative, the mind slows down and lets go naturally on its own. So much of the practice is about that. About this way of shaving away your desire, shaving away a sense of self. And they're related. As long as there's a self, there'll be desire, there'll be craving, there'll be preferences. And the stronger sense of self you have, the more craving you have. So, which is fine, that's normal. But just know, the stronger your craving, the stronger your suffering will be. There are a pair, they follow each other. So you're suffering a lot, to reflect, where is it that I'm craving something? Where is it that my sense of self comes out? So as we continue with our practice of cultivating wholesome states, and hopefully the result of those, purity of mind, the result of cultivation of wholesome states is calmness, is clarity, is clear seeing. Those are the fruits of the practice. They're not something you do. Not something, but it's not something that you can also yearn for. It's something, it comes from a sense of letting go. It comes from acceptance. It comes from forgiveness. That's how the mind is peaceful. So when your mind isn't peaceful, just step back and reflect. What is it that I'm still holding on to? What is it that I'm craving? What is it that I want to get rid of? You'll find there's always something that's underneath the disturbance. So understand, Buddhism is about, so much of it, it's very scientific. It's about causality. You want peace, you have to establish the causes for peace. And when it's not peaceful, then reflect, go backward, go inside. Where is it that I'm craving something? And when you see that, you let that go, and the mind becomes peaceful. Or when the mind is peaceful, reflect, why am I peaceful? Oh, I'm not thinking so much about these things. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not worrying about my family. I'm not thinking about the future. Oh, that's how the mind becomes peaceful. It stays in the present moment. Let go of the past. Let go of thinking. Let go of remorse. Go of guilt. Let go of the future, the planning, the worrying, the managing. Yes, as you know, I'm the senior monk, so there's plenty of planning, plenty of negotiating and deciding. But it doesn't have to be a problem, that's just, that's part of the position. And I decide, I plan, but I also understand that it doesn't always turn out as I like, as I plan. And that's just nature of reality. That's just life. People come, when you don't ask them, they go. When they don't tell you either. They come and go. Usually the abbot's the last person to find out. Oh, so-and-so is here. Oh, that's good. So-and-so is gone. Oh yeah, okay. Very good. And that's fine. That's just part of the practice. That people come according to the cause and condition. People leave according to the cause and condition. My plan, my likes and dislikes, very little bearing on out there, how people behave. And I know that. So I don't take my position too seriously. I'm like all of you, are also here to cultivate wholesome states, cultivate calmness, to cultivate clarity, clear seeing. And these are gradual. You'll see. When you come from a very busy world, you're like, wow, it's amazing, it's so quiet here. And then you meditate, the mind becomes more calm, like, wow, that is so much quiet. Oh, what I thought was peace was not really peace. I was thinking all over the place. Now I understand. But that calmness just becomes more subtle and subtle over time. And the mind starts to open up. You'll see what you didn't think was possible, you're experiencing. And same with clear seeing. It's just layers and layers of things that you need to penetrate. See clearly. Where is it that you're making problem for yourself and others? And sometimes it's not the coarse thing. We're not fighting each other. We're not beating each other up. We're not, stealing things from each other. But we are still creating, suffering for ourselves and others on a more subtle level. So we just we're just refining it, just better and better at it. Or finding ways to inspire yourself, or finding ways to be inspired by the people around you. And like I said, we are blessed in that way. The people come here, have the most, yes, we all have issues. We all have idiosyncrasies, as you all can point out. But that's not the important bit. The important bit is the purity of intention. Regardless of our hang-ups that we have, regardless of the cravings that we might have, everybody's here is inclining towards practice. Everybody here is inclining towards Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, inclining towards wholesome states. And that's something very, very rare in the world. Everybody here is purifying their mind to the best of their ability. That's something very rare. In the world, people go for possessions, power, for fame, for gains. Hopefully in here, we're going towards peace and harmony and supporting each other in our practice. And your practice will develop according to causes and condition. When the mind is not peaceful, just remember, the cause is not there. So how do you develop those causes? So much of it is through acceptance. It is the way it is. Remember, we don't meditate to get anywhere. We don't meditate to get rid of things. We meditate to let go, to accept. We meditate to shave away a sense of self and a craving. And then when what's left, we'll say, well, what if I let go of everything? What's left? You'll find out what's left when you let go. What's left is look around, see Ajahn Tan, just compassion, wisdom, gentleness, beautiful qualities. That's what's left. So as we continue our practice for the next 3 or 4 weeks of cultivating calmness and clarity, of Samatha and Vipassana, remember they go together. The more calm you are, the clearer you see. But they are the product, the result of the practice. They're not a practice in and of themselves. You don't do calm meditation. You don't do insight meditation. You meditate, you cultivate the mind, and these things appear. And there are beautiful states to be able to be present, to experience calm in yourself, to experience a sense of happiness that is beyond the world. It's something that you can't imagine until the mind calms down. A sense of acceptance of yourself and others. True acceptance, unconditional acceptance and love for yourself and others. It's a wonderful, wonderful quality we all can aspire to, that we all can experience, that we all can develop. So after these 2 weeks of meditation, of practice, like I said, I'm happy to be back. Happy to take up the hat, wear the hat, to see a monk again. But also happy to continue my path of practice, of cultivating calm and clarity. And I offer that for your reflection tonight.